Hi, I'm Robin Gully.
I'm John Justin.
We are your Ward 2 Council people here to give the council recap for the 27th of May, 2025.
And yes, it is a Tuesday.
It is a Tuesday.
Not a Monday.
We had Memorial Day yesterday.
Yes.
So happy Memorial Day to everyone. It's one of those weird weeks where we meet on a Tuesday instead of a Monday. So
A few times a year,
yes. So we started out with open council work session, and we actually only had one thing on the agenda, and we spent about an hour and a half talking about our capital improvement plan for the city of West St. Paul. We got some grids and some documents that I think are all available online.
Yes.
And then we had a big grid up on the wall where we spent about an hour and a half thinking through the funding that we have available and the projects that we'd like to do. And I won't spend a ton of time on it. I would encourage folks to check out the material and watch or listen to the conversation. It was at the table on the floor, so it's recorded, not live streamed. The main things that I want to mention are we made sure to include pool improvements in the next 2 years. Our pool, we're so excited, it's going to be opening this week.
Yep.
I believe on the 31st. Check the website.
Yes.
Don't quote me on that. But it should be opening in the next couple of days. We're really excited, but as you all know, and we've talked about this quite a lot, it needs massive improvements just because it's an old pool. And so we are committed to doing that in the next year to 2 years.
Yeah.
So
and pools are
tuned.
Expensive for cities. And a lot of cities have made the decision to shutter their pools, repurpose their pools. We're not doing that. That's not on the table. I think it's clear now. And all the discussions are pointing that way. So if anybody's worried that we're going to follow suit with what a lot of other cities have done with just going like, oh, well, I guess you don't get a pool anymore. We're not doing that. We know that it's important to the community. And so it is going to be fixed. We are robustly discussing what that looks like and what that costs and things like that. We also looked at the future of fire. The fire station, the future of the police station, a few other things were brought up. And this is interesting because we've never done it this way before. Generally, capital improvement has kind of been done, not without input from the council, but on a much higher level from the council of just saying, well, we want this, and then it's gone to staff, and staff has organized when and how to move things around, which is good, and staff's very good at that. I really like the way that we did this. I think that it opened our eyes to how these things all have to intermesh. And we were able to kind of really push forward what we're hearing from residents. I mean, that was a lot of the discussion was about that, about what I was hearing from people about the pool, other people were hearing about the pool, the desires, the needs, the wants, all of that usual stuff. And I think that's important to bring that to bear. Because from a purely economic standpoint, it would probably make sense to just go, well, no pool anymore, it's expensive, but we know how valued it is, and so we're not going to let that happen. So you can look forward to that getting fixed. There won't be a slide this year. There's nothing we can do about that. There will be a slide when we get to the next stage of the pool. We did have some discussion of trying to minimize the amount of downtime while the pool is being done. Obviously, you can't do it overnight or anything, but we're going to try to have staff look into how do we have the least disruption. Like maybe can we not have it closed for an entire summer? Can we have it closed for a portion of the summer? Can we get working on it early? Can work? We're working on all those details. But yeah, overall, I think it was. I think this goes to the city manager was the one who came up with the idea of actually putting this in front of us the way he did, and with the idea that this isn't something that cuffs the hands of future councils, whether it's us or whether it's other people that follow us. They can do the same thing. We're going to probably look at this. I think the idea is every year we're going to look at this and we can reassess, we can realign as things change, as funding and revenue, all the pieces that come together on this. So I think it's a good process. I was really happy that we got the chance to do it. I'm sure we'll have a second round of it probably, because I think that an hour and a half wasn't enough time. So you'll be hearing more about it, but it was good. I think we got to a lot of really good things, and we got a good roadmap out for the next 10 years.
And it included a lot of the, so a lot of you might know that right now we're doing a big renovation for Kennedy Park, but basically we've been thinking about our parks planning for the next many years.
Yep.
And how we create, instead of just replacing the exact things that are in our parks right now, how we create unique visit-worthy spaces in each of our parks. So Kennedy is sort of the first go at that. So we're so excited to have that starting. Right now we actually...
You'll be hearing about it in a little bit.
But we're so excited that is happening imminently. And then over the next several years, as we do park improvements, the expectation is that they're going to be these kind of bigger rethinkings of how we use our public spaces really well. So,
and one of the other things that was really important that came up, and I think this is something that hopefully will be clearer to people out there that are watching this, is bonding is one of those things that often people shy away from bonding projects. But when you look at how much it costs as you continue to not do something, you're sometimes saving money with a 4%, for example, bond. Depending on the rate of inflation per year, that could exceed 4%. And so there are times where bonding actually in the long run will be cheaper than to not bond and try to do it all on a levy and try to do it all at a cash balances, but now you're not able to do it for 6-7 years. As we all know, anybody who does or builds anything or participates in the economy knows things do not generally get cheaper over time. And so I think it opened our eyes to the fact that, bonding something we're careful with, because obviously the Robert Street project, those bonds did slow down things that we could do otherwise. We're coming over the top of that. We're certainly not looking at that level of bonding, but having bonding as an option is something that makes it possible to do the pool renovation. It makes it possible to do the fire station, whereas if it had to just come out of a set budget, you'd either see massive tax increases, which I know nobody wants, or basically eliminating everything else we would be doing to just focus on that one thing, possibly for several years, which would equal no park renovations, none of this, none of that, all of the day-to-day, less road reconstruction, which we don't want to go back to those days either. So I think that was another important takeaway, is that, we're not going to overbond, we're not going to overuse it, but that it's actually a tool that can be very fiscally responsible in a way that I don't think is always clear to anybody that's not dug deep into it. So, and that was the entirety of the open council work session.
That was the whole open council work session. And so if you're interested, check out the audio recording that will be available. And then we went to the council meeting. We had public comments. So first we have West St. Paul, Explore West St. Paul Days coming up next week, which is really exciting, June 5th through the 8th. Kevin Hendricks came to remind us about the West St. Paul Rider. It's very fun. It's going to be the morning of Sunday, June 8th, and everyone is welcome. Grab your bike or your wheels, whatever. I think it's just a 6-mile ride this time. And so it's a kind of quick ride around the community, and it's a lot of fun.
And if you're trying to trick your children into going, there will be donuts.
Oh yeah, there will be donuts.
Which were from a donation from South Robert Street Business Association?
I think, yes.
Yes, yeah. So there will be donuts. So if you have a kid that's like, I don't want to ride for 6 miles, you can be like, but you get a donut. And if they're like my children, that will get them over the line to do just about anything. So,
and then we had an update from Stacy from the Wentworth Library. As we've mentioned before, the Wentworth Library is under construction right now. So they have a temporary space in the second floor of the Dakota County Northern Service Center. But really, Stacy came to give us a quick report on this past year, and Wentworth Library is always continuing to do really good work for the community. And when it's renovated, it's going to be an even better space that's even more usable for folks in the community.
Yeah, and so that space in the Northern Dakota County Service Center is not a browsing library entirely. So if you go in there, as she mentioned, it's not like you're going to see racks and racks and racks of books, but you can pick up holds there. You can still get anything you can get from that entire library system. So it's definitely something you can utilize.
You can use computers and
Yep.
copiers and things. Not a lot, but
Yep.
but yes.
But it's in the
Yeah.
grand scheme of things, it's going to bring us, I think, what's going to be a really incredible library. I, of course, as many may know, have a personal soft spot for libraries as the husband of a librarian. So I'm happy to see that the improvements in there, and I think it's going to be really exciting when it's done. And my apologies to anybody who's struggling a little bit because it was your space to go to that you can't go to for a little while, but they're going to get it reopened as fast as they can, and I think it's going to be,
It'd be really, really
yeah,
nice.
yeah, it looks really incredible. So.
And then we'd be remiss not to mention that Wendy's is opening again in West St. Paul tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.
Yes.
So
With
get
the
your
sign that says, will have been modified if you are a Facebook user to say, we love West St. Paul. And they actually took that very seriously when it was brought to their attention. They made a little bit of a, unsurprising to those of us who live here, snafu on the signage, and they immediately ordered a replacement sign because they don't want to be people that don't know where they are. And so I really appreciate them making that effort. As funny as it was to see it show up, I think we all appreciate it when we're our own city. We like to be known as our own city, and they're going to fix that. So if you were angry or saying, I'm never going to go to Wendy's because they did the wrong thing with the sign, it's going to be fixed as soon as possible. It's on order. We've been promised this. So give them a shot. Don't hold that against them. It was a clerical error, and it has been fixed on their own dime. So don't be mean to them. They're trying.
Yes, so Wendy's tomorrow 10 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And then the only two items of business tonight were first the annual audit report, which I won't even really try to capture, but I will say that if you are a person who's interested in the audit report, definitely go and check out the video on the city website. She did a great presentation.
Yeah, and the short version is we're doing everything correctly, and an independent auditor has determined that we're not doing anything that's financially irresponsible, and that we're credit worthy. That's what makes this really important. Remember those bonds I was talking about? That's how you get good rates on bonds, is that you are considered a very safe investment for a bond market, which saves you money. So all the work that our financial staff has done leads to saving us money by being in the best possible category we can be, which is a good time to mention. Our finance director, Shar Stark, is retiring, and she's been instrumental in that and also getting us through that post-Robert Street funding that we all talked about. She has had not an easy job and probably had a lot of hurdles thrown at her. So we appreciate everything that she's done. I know that she's brought up people within the department that will carry on her good work. And so thanks again to Shar, and we wish her the best. And I'm always envious when somebody retires because as a small business owner, I don't know when I'll be able to retire, but I'll do it when I can, if I can.
The last item of business was just to approve the, Kennedy Park.
Yep, the last stages, and important in that one, we did receive a lot of grants and gifts to make this happen. The art bench was fully funded by an AARP grant. Tree planting is going to be heavily funded by our partners in something with trees and something, and I feel really bad because they're going to be planting a lot of trees and covering the costs and even supplying volunteers to help plant them. And you'll be hearing more about that as we move forward on this thing. If you have not seen the plans, I think they look spectacular.
It's going to be really beautiful.
It's really going to be cool.
People from other neighborhoods might.
It's going to draw people
the way
into
over
Kennedy
to
Park.
Kennedy
And we've always got you when you're sledding.
Yes.
I live right by there, so I love that park. We've always had you come in for the sledding, but this is going to give you reason to come year round. It's really going to be a different park in a great way. I think it's a good setting the stage for what we're looking to do with parks moving forward. Much credit to Eric our parks director, who has moved the needle on community engagement in a way, and I don't think we'd be where we were without him and his staff. So
Yeah, so if you were one of the people who like came to an open house, did a survey,
showed up for any of
Showed
the
up for any
movies,
of
all of the
the-
events
yes.
down there, all of that stuff really was looked at and considered, and I think we ended up with a great plan, and it was really community formed. It wasn't us coming down from on top saying this is what we think you want. It's a lot of what people came to tell us they wanted, and then I think it will exceed those expectations from the people that were
yeah,
there.
it's going to be really beautiful.
Yeah,
So.
I'm very excited for all of us.
And thank you to all of you. Thank
Yeah.
you to Eric for the work
Mhm.
to get it.
Yeah, come hang out on the north end of town. It's nice up here.
That's all we've got.
That's it.
That was the whole council
Yeah.
meeting. So,
See you at West St. Paul. Explore West St. Paul.
yes, come up and say hi.
Yeah.
We'd love to.
I'm
talk
going to be
you.
as many things as I possibly can be,
Same.
and it's going to be really, 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 really fun.
Yes.
So awesome.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a good night.